Hello, boys and girls. Lord Hawkeye here again. Yes, you're seeing that right. I'm playing World of Warcraft again. Apparently, you just can't keep a good game down. But anyways, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about a blog post that Jacob Spinney did a response to that I wanted to put my 2 cents plus tax in on. Well, the main points I wanted to address is, first of all, when Jacob brings up the issue of the fact that in a voluntary exchange, all parties gain because if they didn't, then they wouldn't agree to it, obviously. She comes back by saying that this is not always the case, and she cites the example of, say, someone who really needs a job to pay his bills and do whatever else, has to go for a job or else he'll starve. So in this way, it's coercion because it's either agree to this deal or you die, or you starve to death. And I'm gonna have to say this is probably one of the main things that I really despise about Marxists is that they have this ridiculous, immature 5-year-old's view of how economics work. They work under the theory that business owners just sort of have money, just like how a little child would believe that their parents just sort of have money, and come on, it wouldn't hurt if they shared a little bit with me because, I don't know, for some reason. Anyways, I'm getting off track there. Anyways, so they make this argument, and what they fail to understand is, or maybe choose not to understand, is that the business owner is in the exact same position. You see, if a business owner needs employees. If he doesn't get them, he's not going to meet his quota. If he doesn't meet his quota, then his business will fail. And if his business fails, oh dear, he doesn't eat and he dies. So in that way, you can make the exact same argument. In fact, if anything, you could make it more so because the business owner stands to lose more if things don't go his way. Because people who own businesses are people who took a huge risk. It's very risky to start a business. You have to invest a lot of time. You got to save up money. That means under-consuming. That means consuming less than what you're producing for a long time. And they have to risk it all on the hope that their business succeeds and does not fail like so many do. Even in a free market, starting a business is risky. Less so than when there is with a government, but we'll get into that some other time. So, not only does he risk going hungry if he doesn't get employees, he risks losing everything he put into his business. So, if we're going to say that giving someone the choice between agree to this deal or starve is exploitation and coercive, then if anything, the employees are the exploiters, because they stand to lose far less if things don't go well for them. So, it's just another example of how Marxists seem to act like business owners just are born into it, which is ridiculous. They are not. Anyways, continuing on, she also goes on to try to say that the Venus Project uses the scientific method to determine how things will be distributed and whatever, which is not really an answer at all. When you ask them, okay, without a pricing mechanism, then how will we know what the value of something is and where they're the most urgently needed? And they say, oh, we'll use the scientific method, and the computer's going to figure it out. And well, that's not really an answer. You might as well be saying God's going to do it. So with that in mind, and the really funny thing is when they say that they're going to use a scientific method. Guys, the scientific method works on empirical testing, and according to empirical testing, centralized planning has failed every single time it's been used for the past 6,000 years. If you really believed in the scientific method, then you would first be questioning the validity of centralized planning at all. Since you haven't done that, then I'm just going to assume you're just throwing the word science in to make it sound legitimate. It's ridiculous. Now, thankfully, she does say that they do not plan to ever use coercion to force people into the Venus Project or whatever they got in mind for that. I have my doubts about that, but I'll take them at their word for now. But here's the thing: you want people to join with it voluntarily. just to give you an idea of what kind of a hard sell you're looking at, let me just ask you something. How do you feel about the bureaucracy you deal with, whatever bureaucracy you deal with on a daily basis? Whether it's getting your driver's license, dealing with any kind of government agency. It's annoying. You admit it. It's annoying. You hate it. You absolutely hate it. You want to do it as little as you possibly can. And you want to sell people on the idea of a society where you have to go through a bureaucracy every single time you need something. Does that sound like something people will be jumping for? I know I'm not. That sounds like the stuff of nightmares to me. I mean, the more I hear about the Venus Project, the more I get the impression that these people have not done even the slightest bit of research into their subject. They just make up these ideas off the top of their heads and don't seriously examine them. So, while I applaud your attacks against fiat currency and the current government system, we really don't need harebrained ideas making us look like a bunch of misty-eyed dreamers. It's ridiculous. So, if you want to help the cause, of anarchy, do me a favor, switch sides right now. That'd be very much appreciated. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Until next time, be aware and be wise.